我说让我们这给你回头聊一聊，怎么推广一下中文语。
Dear friends, dear colleagues, good afternoon. My name is Wang Jianchao, and I'm from Cyberspace Administration of China. Welcome you to join this open forum organized by the CEC of China. The title of the open forum is Fostering Cultural Diversity and Exchanges on the Internet. Before I formally open my open forum, I would introduce the speakers on the forum. Dr. Indrajit Banerjee, Director from UNESCO. Ms. Chao Yaxin, Executive Deputy Secretary General from Chinese Cultural Institute of Internet Communication. Ms. Luigi Gambardella, President from China EU Digital. Dr. Guo Ying, Deputy Dean from China University of Geosciences. Dr. Thorsten Jelinek, Research Fellow from Taihe Global Institute. Ms. Zhou Hongjing, Vice President from iRead Technology Corporation. And Mr. Carlos Bravo, he is a professor on Maya culture. I think he will take us some brilliant things at the end of the forum. Colleagues, before our speaker gave his wonderful speeches, I would brief you the Chinese internet culture situations. In fact, rooted in traditional Chinese culture, Chinese internet culture has boomed with the expansion of the internet. It's well known that China enjoys a long history with 5,000 years, and it provides solid foundation and plenty of sources for China's internet culture. At present, China has 710 million netizens, and we also have 4.54 million websites. China's internet culture industry has also expanded rapidly. Nowadays, we have 480 million subscribers of online videos, music, literature, and games. In fact, China's internet culture is open and inclusive, which also featured distinct national characteristics. Chinese festival online is a good example. Normally we would held culture events online during Chinese traditional festivals such as Spring Festival, Dragon Boat Festival, and Mid-Autumn Festival. During these festivals, netizens always send online greeting, not domestically, but also internationally. So the foreigners could also enjoy our culture, our festival culture. At the same time, Western festivals, including Christmas and Thanksgiving Day, also have more and more popular for Chinese people. By surfing the internet, people are able to share the beauty of the different culture. Colleagues, the Chinese government has always respected the diversity of different cultures and devoted itself to establish the platform to sharing the internet culture. For China, we have a very old saying that gentlemen should seek harmony instead of for uniformity. We think harmony have a prior value regarding the uniformity. So we believe that the cultural diversity should be respected and international dialogues and cooperation should be further strengthened. The Cyberspace Administration of China always push forward the related international cooperation. In fact, we organized the 3 World Internet Conference. The internet culture cooperation always takes an important role and important topics on that conference. Dear colleagues, in fact, culture is something rooted in the people. To promote the cultural diversity is to preserve the heritage of the people. And to promote the cultural diversity is also to build, is also a critical element to build the common, a common community of a shared future for all the people. That's my brief opening. Next, I would welcome Dr. Banerjee to give his speeches.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and let me thank the Cyberspace Administration of China for this very kind invitation to me and to UNESCO to participate in something which is very much at the core of UNESCO's mandate and preoccupations. It is true, I mean, within 5 to 7 minutes, one can't really discuss that in depth, the very complex questions relating to culture and the internet. But it's true that the internet offers, as you have said, Mr. Chairman, unprecedented opportunities to foster cultural diversity through the internet, which has become by far the largest platform and the most global platform to produce, distribute, and share cultural practices, traditions, expressions, and artifacts. Yet, it is very clear that all cultures, China is, I think, a shining example in the cultural sphere. It's very clear that all cultures do not have equal representation, and there are numerous challenges to really seek that harmony that you talk about, because there are obviously some languages and some cultures which are still largely dominating the internet. And these challenges range from lack of supportive policy environments, insufficient capacity, lack of resources, and many other such challenges. I think one of the keys from UNESCO's perspective, in our experience, is the need to empower local communities, because culture lives within communities. It's not something which is coming from outside. It is created by communities. It is lived by communities. And to ensure that minority cultures find their place on the internet, strengthening local cultural and creative industries. And these are some critical elements which are absolutely essential if we were to see the internet being really fulfilling its potential as a platform for fostering cultural diversity. UNESCO, of course, has launched a large number of initiatives. It's the UN agency which is responsible for promotion of cultural diversity. Let me give you a few examples to show you what kind of work we're doing actually on the ground. As you know, the 2005 Convention on the Protection and Promotion of the Diversity of Cultural Expressions, with 140 member states, aims to ensure that artists, cultural professionals, practitioners, and citizens worldwide can create, produce, distribute, and enjoy a broad range of cultural goods, services, and activities, including their own. There is a special focus now on how digital issues, digital technologies, and the internet can impact the implementation of the convention. Because when the convention was signed, of course, it was not, the internet was not that widespread. Today, with the internet reaching more than almost half of the world's population, it is important to see how the internet and ICTs in general can be harnessed to make sure that the implementation of the convention goes forward. So many of these projects that we do focus on capacity building and especially training of young cultural entrepreneurs. Because once you train these young people who have the digital skills on whether it be museums or local cultural traditions, expressions, they become the most powerful weapons to promote cultural diversity on the internet. And strengthening local cultural and creative industries, especially in developing countries, including training projects for the youth and indigenous communities in audiovisual and broadcasting techniques, has therefore become critical. UNESCO, as I will not give you the list of projects, UNESCO has around the world tried to ensure that adequate policies are in place, capacity building, training, entrepreneurship in the cultural realm are encouraged. And we work, of course, across the range of cultural heritage, including intangible cultural heritage, including documentary cultural heritage. And perhaps I'll conclude my opening statement by mentioning two projects UNESCO is doing with China, very interesting projects. One is taking traditional games which are disappearing. You know, there are wonderful traditional games everywhere in the world. You see young people today, the youth, they're playing all the same games of shooting and fighting and all that. And those traditional games, what we're doing, we're working with Tencent, one of the world's largest animation companies, to bring these games alive. And within these games, of course, there are a lot of cultural messages, cultural expressions. And it's a fascinating project. We have already covered several countries. And that's a project which we are really very proud of. And the second project we're doing is with the company called TalkMate in China. And this project is, again, very interesting from the cultural perspective because it is creating what I mentioned in an earlier session today, the Atlas of World's Languages. So we want to document online all the world's languages, and not only just lists, but also give people, young people, the opportunity of discovering languages, how they sound, their music, songs, etc., etc., etc. So just a few examples. I could give you many more, but I think I'll stop it at that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Doctor. And in fact, UNESCO is always playing leading roles on the internet culture and cultural diversity. We are hoping to promote more cooperation. And next, I would invite Ms. Cao Yaxin to give her speech. Welcome.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is my great honor to speak on behalf of the organizer. I am Cao Yaxin from Chinese Culture Institute of Internet Communication, CCIIC. Being the first national level civil society in China, which is specifically responsible for internet-based culture promotion, CCIC is also the first Chinese civil society that aims to study and promote the diversity of global internet culture. Before my speech, I'd like to take few minutes to show you a video about CCIC. Please.
麦克。
Okay. As a young lady, I was fortunate enough to witness the birth and the growth of CCIC and experience the joy of internet-based culture diffusion. Today, I'd like to share my experience and reflection with you. The internet links the whole world together. We sincerely hope that CCIC can shoulder one mission and to establish two platforms. The mission of CCIC is to diffuse culture more effectively through the internet and to benefit all people in the progress. In order to achieve its mission, it is necessary for CCIC to establish two platforms. The first one is the technology platform, which traditional Chinese culture can be promoted with the assistance of modern internet technologies. The key is to make traditional Chinese culture more attractive and appealing to the young generation. We try to promote traditional Chinese culture online in young-friendly ways. For instance, CCIC made short videos titled Learning Chinese Classics in 3 minutes, which were well received by young people. Some friends told me that they got useful knowledge, interesting stories, and even elementary traditional painting skills by watching these videos when they wait for subway. We are aware that online diffusion of traditional culture must be sensitive to the popular demands of the young generation. We can also help foreigners to understand and experience traditional Chinese culture in a better way by using the internet. Here is another story of mine. When I was a middle school student, my friend and I invited a Malaysian friend to try a cup of Chinese green tea. However, we were surprised to find that he felt sick when seeing green leaves floating in the hot water. Green, a color of spring and life in Chinese culture, is also a color of a deadly poison for people from other countries. This story tells us that culture shock really matters. During the past year, CCIC set up online culture academies in the Netherlands, Sweden, Germany, Australia, and other countries to help the world understanding Chinese culture better. The second platform is an exchange one. People from different countries can communicate and learn from each other by using this platform. First and foremost, we hope to remove communication barriers and misunderstandings among different countries. Without cross-cultural dialogues, cultural differences may turn to conflicts. But are cross-cultural exchanges really difficult? This question reminded me a story in 2005 when the deputy chief of CCIC staged a hybrid concert of Chinese zither and Western piano, which was a great success. If Chinese zither and Western piano can strike a harmonious chord together, why different cultures cannot engage in friendly dialogues? We really hope the internet can play an active role in deepening cross-cultural exchanges. Secondly, we also hope the internet can promote the equality of cross-cultural exchanges and improve the coexistence of diverse cultures. On the opening ceremony of the Second World Internet Conference, Chinese President Xi Jinping stated, "We should create online platforms to promote cultural communication, sharing, and mutual learning." In line with the imbalanced development levels across the globe, the diffusion opportunities for different cultures are also imbalanced. We believe the internet can narrow down this disparity and facilitate the coexistence of diverse cultures as much as possible. Ladies and gentlemen, to further the exchanges and the mutual learning among different cultures, we hope all colleagues over the world to work together to establish effective mechanisms for online cultural diffusion. The internet will work as a bridge so that we can build a cyberspace community of shared destiny. Thank you all.
Thank you, Ms. Chow. And in fact, I think 5,000 years culture still feed the people with new style. That is the story told by Ms. Chow. And following, I would invite President Gambardella to give a speech. Thank you.
Wang, thank you very much for the invitation and congratulations, because I think that you choose a very, very interesting and very important argument. Let me say, I have also a presentation, as not is possible to see it. I have only just a few slides. And I would like just to introduce a few ideas, few concepts for also, if it's possible, later the discussion and the contribution. The first point is, cultural diversity today is nearly synonymous of linguistic diversity. We know that if we refer to the European Union, in the treaty is written that shall respect its rich cultural and linguistic diversity and shall ensure that Europe's cultural heritage is safeguarded and enhanced. So UNESCO, if I refer to UNESCO, UNESCO said that we have in Europe local 128 languages spoken in the EU. And obviously these languages are treated. And I also put a picture of one language in the north of Italy. And language is very important because only when you learn a language you can understand a culture. Unfortunately, and I regret this, I don't speak Chinese. And when you speak a language, you understand the culture. So the first concept that I would like to introduce is that the cultural diversity is very much associated with language diversity. The second concept, the second slide, is more related to the globalization, the technology, and the cultural, what we call homogenization. Obviously, the globalization, which now today it seems bad, is becoming something completely wrong, and technology are boost economic growth. This is a reality, leading to the emergence of what has been called an urban middle class. And this urban middle class, instead of the century-old rural diverse dialects and local different customs, what has created? People who basically, they do the same thing. They drive same comparable cars, they eat increasingly similar food. Unfortunately, they don't know that Chinese is always the best one. They listen the music in English. They buy international brands, Coca-Cola, Apple, Samsung. They watch Hollywood movies. So, and this is the second point that I would like to raise. And the third point is that internet is creating a new social fragmentation. Sorry? Yes, if it's possible to change the slide. Here. Okay, so. Has created the new social fragmentation, has reduced barrier, which is good to entry. For example, let's suppose local language songs and dances can be posted on YouTube. We don't need to access to television. We can do everything through internet. We can produce digital movie, which does not require expensive studios. We could produce now with Periscope. We could allow other people to watch what we are saying here in this room. We could even publish. We don't need anymore the publisher because we can publish our own books. So this has been very important things that has happened. And so we are going, I think, through a new cultural diversity, I think, thanks and because of the technology. But let me say two concepts that I think we should recognize. Culture is an experience good. culture, every one of us give a different value to culture. We cannot give the same value that we can have when we buy a product or a service. And let's see the different importance people give to speak local languages, for example. A second aspect which is important is that psychologists say that the fact, internet, we always say it's good, it's great because allow to have more choice, bigger choice. You can do many things with internet. And thanks to, let's make an example. Spotify, no? We know Spotify is a very famous European music company. I don't know how many millions of music there are in Spotify, but psychologists say that people respond really poorly to choice. We know that people, they listen few music. They don't go to look at, check other music. They have 30, 40 music and they listen only that one. And have a tendency to imitate social leader. My last point that I would like to raise is that, so what has changed because of internet, because of technology, because of globalization, that we have today a different cultural diversity. In the past, it was based on the rural community versus the cities, local different. Today, the fragmentation, the differences are different, are age, based on age groups, income, revenue, how much you earn, and educational level. This kind of new way, I think, that we should consider in order to see how the people are differentiating when in their behavior. So this is just a short presentation, and I leave the floor to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President Gambardella, and your in-depth view regarding the cultural diversity is attractive, I think. Thank you. And next one, I would invite Mr. Leonid Todorov from Asia Pacific Top Level Domain Association, General Manager. And in fact, the IDN always play a key element regarding the multilingual issues on internet. Welcome you.
Thank you. Well, as you would imagine, I'm a Russian, and as a Russian, I'm keen on talking about culture, citing Tolstoy, Dostoevsky, talking about the Bolshoi theater ballet, you know. But let me start with some quote by Confucius, who once said, what is God-given is called nature. To follow nature is called Tao. To cultivate the way, the Tao, is called culture. And I think that's a very insightful comment by one of the wisest thinkers of all times, because you know, talking about culture, it's not only ideas for us at APTLD, but rather a very complex and sophisticated fabric of relations within our organization. APTLD by itself has little relation to culture, because our major mission is to get together those organizations that run country code top-level domains for nations and territories in the Asia-Pacific region. And we, of course, have a very diverse community, as you would imagine. And let me tell you that in that case, I witnessed for already 2 years, I witnessed the rise of a very special culture following a very special way by our friends and colleagues from CNNIC. And suffice it to mention that culture is all about exchanges. And in exchange, you give something and you take something in exchange. And that's what we do at APTLD, and what I believe CNNIC has excelled in. Because I remember Beijing, I mean, that was the ICANN meeting in Beijing when they took quite a number of people to their technical facilities, and they generously showed what they achieved at that time. Isn't that a sign of culture? Of a very, I mean, in a very special way, in a very special interpretation. Then, of course, we have our meetings at APTLD, and we share knowledge and know-how. And again, I must admit that CNIC is one of those members on whom we can always rely in, I mean, with their firm commitment to give and to promote the best practices within our organization. Now we're coming to IDNs. Of course, IDNs is a very important matter, because with IDNs we create a new environment, what is called the multilingual internet, which has so far been dominated by the English language and Latin characters, but with that IDN, with those IDNs, and also with IDN-enabled services such as the non-Latin email addressing. We create an absolutely new environment. We discussed that earlier these days, and Yao was moderating a session. Like, we are trying to do something which would help people enhance their abilities and promote their access to the internet and became a richer, I mean, spiritually, culturally, first of all. And I think that in that case, the CNIC's leadership in that regard is quite visible. Now, I'm coming to a very interesting development which has been created recently, and I'm happy to see my friend Yusao here, and that's the Wuzhen Summit. Some may argue that it's a showcase for China's developments on the internet. I wouldn't mind. On the other hand, we can see that many people from around the world get together to discuss very important issues, and we can see how that Wuzhen Summit has evolved over time and how it's become much more inclusive and much more open and much more multi-stakeholder event, so that all the voices are heard and all the opinions matter. And we can see that a part of that Wuzhen Summit, unfortunately I missed those sessions, but a part of that Wuzhen Summit, quite a big session, and not only a single one, was dedicated to the matters of cultural exchanges. And, you know, that doesn't mean that we agree at all times on all counts with our friends, but again, this is a very specific culture. We cultivate both within APTLD, at IGF, and within this community, and that the culture of dialogue and mutual understanding, which is, of course, again, I'm sorry for my tautology, but this is again a cultural thing. And last but not least, I think that what we learn from each other, and I, for my part, learn from my friends from CNIC, is that culture of crafting, or weaving rather, a very delicate fabric of personal relations. And I'm happy to admit here that the friendship that we created several years ago is still there, and I guess that will stay on for years to come. And you know, with that, I guess that's what I wanted to say about cultural exchanges. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Todorov. I think you have provided opinion and view beyond technologies. Next one, I would invite Dr. Guo Ying to give his speech. He will tell us another story. Welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to be here to attend the meeting. And I am a teacher from School of Gemology, China University of Geoscience in Beijing. My major is gemology, just like something you can see here. So crystal beryl, emerald, ruby, sapphire, or diamond, opal, or pearls. But all of us, although they're fascinating, but it's not interest me so much. What I interest is some good news, good things, especially jades and jade cultures. This is my first time to be here to Mexico, and I know something of Mexico from the internet. I think this is the most advanced technology. All those stones originated from here, ferropole, farragut, or blue amber. Also, I haven't seen them here. So what I want to say is jade culture is my focus. So as far as I know, there's so many jade cultures all over the world. The first is my countries. I come from China, so the ancient Chinese in the East Asia. And the next one is New Zealand, so ancient Maoris. They have a long time of jade culture. And the last one I want to say is here, so Mexico. I know lots of things of Mexico jade cultures, and all of these three cultures contribute to the Asia-Pacific jade cultures. So it's a whole. Although there are some different, there are some characteristics of each other, but there are something similarities. So the first I want to show us several pictures of our Chinese jades from Shang Dynasty, several thousand years before. So everyone can see there were several jade people, the nails on the ground because they're slaves. So they could not have some right, especially or of their own life. And the second is ring, but this ring is not for decoration. It's just a ring of just like a weapon. When someone is shooting an arrow, she or he must be wearing a jade ring on his right hand thumb. So it's a help when he's shooting an arrow. And there's something else for decoration, and this is China, ancient China, I mean. So when we focus on New Zealand, they know a lot of things of bowenite, and they love this so much. And all of the bowenite have been made to be decorations for the bracelet, for the of weapons also. And New Zealand, there's not only bowenite. We say it's serpentine in China, and it's orange. Another thing is nephrite, just like our China, and what we love too. So there's so many kinds of jades, especially nephrite and bowenite. But here in Mexico, there's a lot of green jades, chalcedony or jadeite jade. They love this so much, not only just of its materials, but also its types of jade ware. The first is people. It's from the Olmec civilization from 2000 BC to AD 300, and Maya civilization from 1500 BC to AD 1400. And the last one I want to say is the Aztec civilization. Also, we call it the Mexican civilization from AD 1200 to 1521. Here's a calendar, a solar calendar. Yes, this wall. And from the similarities of China and Mexico jade culture. So in the year of 2005, shared reverence for jade resulted in a dialogue between China and Mexico. The remains of the stones also commemorated the 40th anniversary of diplomatic ties between Mexico and China. The middle pictures is just a poster when the exhibition is held in China, Beijing Palace Museum. And the left one is musk, jade musk from Shijiahe culture in China. And the right one is a musk from here in Mexico. Though both musk have some similarities of big eyes, a big nose, or a big mouth. Perhaps our Asians want to know something more, so they do the musk. Very, very beautiful. And the difference development So all of these jade cultures are different from different years, appearance, different stages, and developed in their own characteristic developing. But they have some similarities. The first is axe from China or Mexico, long and have a blade, but perhaps it's not just used for the real tools. It's on behalf the power for the ruler. Yes. So different development. The civilization of jade in China and Mexico started at different eras. So this is why their chosen type of rock preferred design for display and craftsmanship gradually evolved towards separated directions. Yes, here's 3 pictures of jade man. Actually, the modern technology has shared a lot of similarities with the civilization in our 2 countries. It is the combination of a variety of small units, and is able to self-improve its content and self-enrich its applications. So on the other hand, the civilization in different countries and regions have distinctive characteristics and can gradually develop in their own way. So as last, I will say, despite the distance between the 2 countries, China and Mexico share many similar culture features, suggesting that our ancestors may have had some communication in ancient times. There's 2 different, one mask, one is made by jade and one is by clay. So at last, as a scholar, I think it is essential to protect the history and the civilization of each ethnic group and encourage them to be broadcasters through internet and other media channels. That's all. Thank you for inviting me, and thanks for your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your jade story, an attractive story. And next one, I would invite Dr. Thorsten Jelinek. He's from Germany, and he will give some in-depth opinion and view. Welcome.
Thank you, Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen, with the recent rise of populism, nationalism, racism, and in some parts of the world, even the rejection of modern values altogether, we're increasingly experiencing a clash of cultures and about civilization. I would like us to take a closer look at how culture is produced in the time of global markets in the internet, and make us realize that we are not living in a post-ideological world. As you said, I'm Thorsten Jelinek, director of Taihe Global Institute. We are an independent think tank in Beijing. So most of the time I'm in Beijing, actually. UNESCO reminds us that cultural diversity and pluralism are great achievements of our civilization. In our connected world, pluralism is the safeguard of cultural diversity. Culture provides identity, but without an open and reflective mind in society, culture also causes tension. Now, to understand why cultural diversity and pluralism are increasingly at risk, let us first look at a particular culture, such as China's, and highlight how culture has been used to produce within and outside China and serve different ends. The internet, in this regard, has a value in itself, but primarily intensifies, to my understanding, an already existing broader structure and historical development, which we need to take into consideration in our debate on internet governance. Until recently, we were utterly surprised about China's economic growth, fast growth, because the dominant Western experience of capitalism presupposed that liberal values were required for markets to flourish. To explain why formerly socialist economy has become an even better manager of capitalist markets, China observers answered with referring to traditional Chinese culture. So Chinese culture was the answer why reformed China since '78 developed much faster than anyone else. Interestingly, those traditional culture was basically negated in the past, in imperial China. So over centuries, prominent Western philosophers have literally denounced imperial China and made Confucianism the dominant source of culture, of Chinese culture, primarily responsible for the country's apparent lack of progress, struggle, and reason, which are the very cornerstones of, or were the very cornerstones of Western enlightenment and modernization. For the West, the written Chinese language was the ultimate manifestation of imperial China's stagnation. Chinese characters were construed to insufficiently capture thought, making the language unsuitable for proper philosophical and scientific discourse. Now, bringing back to mind the speed of China's modernization over the past 4 decades, it is needless to say that those past Western views of Chinese culture simply provided a reverse image of a dominant self seeking truth and justifying, unfortunately, Western imperialism. Today, we are more interested in how China will actually continue growth, but in a sustainable way, how it will cope with the dominance, with the domestic disruption of global markets and contribute to geopolitical stability. The question is, what is actually the moral and cultural basis for China's action? The answer reveals another twist in the perception of traditional Chinese culture. Modern China has a long history of negating its own tradition for the sake of modernization. Today, paradoxically and luckily, I have to say, the Chinese government is strongly promoting, as we hear, the teaching of Chinese classics, language, not only within China, but also abroad. The new 5-year plan has a dedicated section on culture. President Xi Jinping's China dream is to re-establish China as a great power, not only economically, but also culturally. The recent turning back on China's traditions, however, serves a dual strategy and reveals also its ideological function. On the one hand, promoting the market economy over the past 3 decades and the rise of global markets has rendered socialist values meaningless. Traditional culture is supposed to fill that void and provide new meaning. On the other hand, promoting Chinese tradition counters the dominant Western values that led to the rise of capitalism and prosperity in first instance, but also to our local and global imbalances. To be fair, traditional Chinese virtues can be a viable source for justifying action. What apparently prevented change in China's imperial past is now supposed to tame the excess of capitalism in the future. Arguably, state benevolence and gradualism have helped China since reform and might help China to master the next development phase. However, a key lesson about capitalism is that it can adapt to any cultural values and turn them into an ideology. Domestically, China's traditions are certainly challenged by China's 200 million millennials. This young generation is the most individualized one and probably most concerned with the battery power of their smartphones. If in the IGF context here, one important question remains, of course, which role does the internet play in this broader historical context? As a German, I can't resist to refer a German philosopher, Immanuel Kant. He called the fundamental process that allows us to develop our consciousness the public use of reason. Public means that we can reflect on and freely express our opinion without restrictions. The public sphere is necessary for developing and exchanging ideas and constructing our cultural identities. By contrast, Kant's private use of reason refers to the restriction of expression. No doubt, the internet has brought us much closer the cultural other, but the development of our open public consciousness is at risk. There is a separation between the free public use of the internet and the increasingly private control of it. Such control and manipulation of our consciousness is achieved in at least 2 fundamental ways. Firstly, through the technical, governmental, and commercial fragmentation of the internet. If we are restricted only to a certain part of the internet due to gatelands, censorship, filtering, blocking, geographic fencing, and other ways of limiting access to such business models that impede our ability to freely create, distribute, and access information, then we are stifled and prevented from building our cultural rich identities, not just our online identities. Such fragmentation is not the result of the internet, but of global markets and ideology, the power to sustain or alter realities. Secondly, within those frameworks, the internet becomes very efficient in controlling information and thus the public use of reason. Social media robots automatically set up accounts, make friends, provide likes, and post and share information. These social bots have already strongly impacted the result of the recent US election, presidential election, and has impacted, for example, in Germany, the public debate on the migration crisis, both times in favor of right-wing populism. The danger is that such automated information does not represent public opinion, but primarily seeks to limit the public spheres of reason. To avoid any misunderstanding, certain closeness and fragmentation is necessary to provide security and stability. In summary, since a while, the global fault line is no longer between markets and plan, but between openness and closeness. Openness is what brings progress, but uncontrolled markets tend to lead to closeness and the assimilation of new technologies, including those that originally promoted openness, such as the internet. To ensure openness and pluralism, we cannot just focus on the functioning of the internet, but must also consider the very dynamics of global markets and cultural production. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doctor, and thank you for your German style and sophisticated input. Thank you. Next one, I would invite Ms. Zhou Hongjing to give her speeches.
Yeah, sure, thank you. My name is Zhou Hongjing, and I work for iReader Technology. And today, my topic will cover how reading enhances cultural exchange and how Chinese literature empowers the world from our business standpoint. So everybody could only live one life, but through reading, people could have diversified experiences. Reading is fair and is borderless to everybody. So our company, iReader Technology, we want to become the most available and the most professional e-library in the world. And our main business is e-reading, and we currently have 600 million global users and 100 million monthly active users globally. And we currently lead the China market in both user base and user engagement. Here is, on the left side, is a picture of our product. You can read novels, magazines, and the comic books on our app. And on the right side is our e-reader tablet for deep reading users. We have customized functions for readers with very different reading habits, and we have voluminous books to read from. We own all the copyrights on our platform. Next, I will talk about how reading enhances cultural exchanges. So we currently operate in 60 countries, and in 10 out of these 60, we dominate the market in the e-reading category. And every day, there are 3 million pages being read outside of China. We have prepared many quality contents for readers using different languages. So, for example, we have prepared the Chinese version of Harry Potter for Chinese readers, and we have translated some Nobel Prize work in English for English readers. On the right side, you can see our number of accumulated copyrights. So we have accumulated many copyrights in many countries, in many different languages. Coming from different countries, users can use the same iReader because it's anytime and anywhere, and the users can enjoy the same book. They can speak on the same book, interpret the book in one way or another, and they can share their thoughts with us and with each other using English. So in this way, cultural values are carried to different regions. Cultural values are carried to different regions by books, and users can comprehend and communicate the cultural values without having to travel to that specific region and also talking to local people. In this way, users can, in this way, the reading really enhances the cultural exchange and makes a smaller world. So as China's largest e-reading platform, iReader wants to go beyond just providing books to really promote the Chinese core culture to the world. And In 2014, we launched the iReader public version project. And you can see under that big umbrella, we have 5 brands for our iReader public versions. So, China have accumulated 5,000 years of wisdom, and we really have a lot of treasured books to offer to the world. So up to now, we have revised and digitized more than 200 treasured classical books to promote to the world. We also have the iReader public versions for foreign language, so that's going to be spread to the world. Taking one of the most important China's classical books as an example, it's called The Dream of Red Mansions. We actually have added more than 200 photos to that book to, for example, some portrait, some people portrait, and some Asian clothes display. We also added the character relationship structure to the book to help people to understand the very complicated nature of that book. So up to now, more than 50 million global copies have been downloaded globally, and actually 2 million happen outside of China. So that's really a lot. And people actually, the traditional values of China's modesty, integrity, and wisdom are spread to the world. And people from around the world have given us feedback that they are very inspired by the Asian wisdom and the Asian success stories. We also have the iReader public versions for kids, in which we tailored the design and the contents specifically for children. We added the audiobooks to that contents, so people could choose to listen to that book if they don't want to read. In order to discover how reading would affect people over time, we have launched the 1,000 Kid Plan, in which we plan to keep track of 1,000 children from around the world for 10 years to see their reading habits, how that formed over time. And we will offer them our iReader public versions to read. Those are all the Chinese classical books. And we want to discover how reading over time could affect people's values, thoughts, and life, and how the Chinese classical literature could shape the current generation. And up to now, many children have given us feedback on that, how those have enlarged their scope of knowledge, how it expanded their vision of the world, and how it helped establish their life and study goals. In the next few years, our company, iReader Technology, is going to partner with major cell phone providers to promote to co-run the online bookstores, and we want to extend our book resources and the Chinese culture to every corner of the world. So everybody could only live one life, but iReader wants to diversify people's experiences. We want to enlighten the world with Chinese classical literature and drive for dream life. Thank you.
Thank you. I think iReader is an iBook for many Chinese customers of smartphone, including myself. I can prove that what she said is totally true. Next one, and finally, I would welcome Mr. Professor Carlos Prova to introduce us the attractive Maya culture. Welcome you. Mike. Mike.
Today has been a long day for me, especially because just today in the morning I met Mr. Oh my goodness, Antonio Pai, and I was invited to give a speech about the Mayan culture. I didn't know what the event was about, and when I got here, I found out that this is about the UN. So it is a big shot. I'm an English teacher, and I would like everybody to pay attention to this because it's gonna be like a class. Right over there at the corner, you see there's a black box. I brought the Mayan knowledge in that box. So if you guys allow me to stand up and walk around just like a normal teacher would do, right? Am I? Okay. But I'm gonna need some volunteers. This is how I do it in my class. I need okay, here it is. I need volunteers. Raise your hand if you want to volunteer for my class. There you go. 1, 2 people. 3 people, stand up, please. You guys stand up. I volunteer. Would you? Okay, you're volunteering for the video. You're my filmmaker. There you go. And if you want to have one of this is information about, little information about Mayan culture. If you want to have one of this, please raise your hand. So my volunteers will go around and, so raise your hand. Raise your hand if you want to have one of this.
Take the microphone.
There you go. There you go. Is there a microphone? Hey, do we have some Maya or pre-Hispanic? Hey, do you speak English, the guy in the audio? Habla español, ¿verdad? Sí. ¿Tienes algo prehispánico, música, sonido, lo que sea, para ponerlo de ambiente? No podemos poner nada de eso? Okay, never mind. I was asking my friend if we can have some like sounds about the Mayan culture. Okay. Right there you have some information in English. Oh, it is here. I was gonna walk over there. But you know what? I don't want anybody watch what is in the box. So I'm gonna move over there. So nobody watch what's in the box, because it is a surprise for each of you. All right? Okay. All right, so. Hey, you guys let me know if my time is up. All right? Anyways, raise your hand. Raise your hand if you want to learn something about the Maya culture. There you go. I see a lot of hands, so I just need one. Let me see. I'm going to ask the box. Who should I bring to learn something about the Maya culture? And, whoops, you didn't see anything, right? Okay. I'm going to call Luigi Gambardella. Did I pronounce it correct? The God, the Mayan God just told me, you are the chosen one. Come on up.
We've always known that, Luigi.
It's always, yes. All right. Okay, you can stay right there. You can stay. You have a microphone right there. Good. Okay. Okay. If I ask you a question about the Mayan tradition, will you be able to answer? Maybe. Could you name one of the most emblematic cities in the Mayan culture? What was the most emblematic city in the Mayan culture? Anybody? Chichen Itza is one. Palenque is another one. Tikal. Yes. Could you come for, where are you coming from? I'm from here. Mexican people are not allowed. That's what Donald Trump would say. Anyways, okay, come on. I have something for you. The gods have brought you something from Tikal. This is for you. Thank you. Yes. Who else wants to learn something? Anybody? Raise your hand that are present. If I ask you something, will you? Yes. What's your name, sir?
Paul.
Where are you coming from, Paul? Australia. What do you know about Mayan culture? Would you mention something? Would I mention something? Yes. Teotihuacan. Teotihuacan was actually part of the Aztec and Maya culture. It was like in the middle. Yes. Exactly. There was the Mayas, the Teotihuacanos, and the Aztecs. Teotihuacan was something similar to the Mayan and Aztec culture. So pretty much there were 3 different civilizations growing, but all of them disappeared. Well, the Aztec, we know what the Aztec what they did, right? So, Mr. Paul, I think you would like to have something from the jungle, wouldn't you? So, this is for you. Mayan kids used to make toys from their nature. It's more like a monkey. It looks like a kangaroo, but it's more like a monkey, I guess. Anybody else? There are presents. Who wants to participate? Anybody? Come on. Let's have some fun. You won't fail. There's not an exam. Come on. Over there. We need a lady. Okay. What's your name?
Jackie.
Jackie. Where are you coming from, Jackie?
San Francisco.
San Francisco. Okay. Is Popol Vuh something similar that you have heard before? Popol Vuh. What is that about? Anybody? Not you. You're Mexican. We don't like Mexican people here. Popol Vuh. No?
Sorry.
Anybody? It is like the Bible of the Mayan culture. The Popol Vuh is the Bible of the Mayan culture. Yes. And some people who has this, at the last page, you can see, and well, you can buy the book now because it was restored. This is one of, well, how do you say that? The book version. This is one of the versions. There are so many versions. I'm pretty sure that maybe in China and United States they have this version. Well, I want to make sure, but I'm not even sure about that. Well, Popol Vuh was the Bible. In this book, they actually talk about what the lifestyle is about, right? You read it? Well, but you have heard about this. Imagine that, okay, we as people now, we're living under some paradigms, right? But the Mayas, they understood the world in a different way. They used to offer their lives to the gods. And for them, dying was part of the life. And sometimes we as humans, we don't want to die. So, how would I say? So, I mean, we like to live the longest time, right? Anyways, for the Mayas, offering their lives to the gods was like the biggest act of dogmatic, church, culture, sacrificing themselves. Where are you from? Mexico. Anybody else? Anybody else? Okay. What is this I have in my right hand? Anybody? This is also a Mayan toy. This is a Maya toy, right here. Kao Janshin. This is for you. Could you open it, please? Open it up. Watch out, watch out, watch out. Please, please. Yeah, there you go. No, I mean, where am I? You know what? It is empty. It's supposed to be full with dolls. I have another one. Hold on. I have two. How's my timing? Good? Forever. Forever. Wait, let me. Thank you, God. Here. Okay. Empty the little bucket. Empty it. What is that in your hand? Little people, little dolls, right? Okay, Mayas created this kind of toy, but it was not only for kids. Mayas used to believe that putting one of these under your head at night would take all your worries and will disappear on the next day. Actually, it is mentioned here. Check it out. The name is Niños Quita Problemas. Kids, those are supposed to be kids. How would I translate this? Quita Problemas? Pardon me? Untroubled kids? Could be, yes. According to the Maya legend, the kids Quita Problemas help to solve your problems. Take one kid, those, yes, take one kid and put it under your pillow at night. The next day, your problem will disappear. This is for you. Take it back to China. Anybody else? Right now? Okay. My time is like running out. I have so more presents here, so I'm just gonna.
You still have the last chance, okay, to choose some the specific one, you know.
Okay, we have talked about the Popol Vuh, the Bible. We have talked about kids' toys. Yes. Why don't we, I don't know, take a look in your papers right there. Why don't we go to page number 3? Yes, and we have right here a picture and a little writing about the calendar. They had 2 calendars. They had 2 calendars. Which one, or the main calendar was el calendario solar, and the second one was el calendario lunar. And it's still a mystery how these 2 calendars work, because one of them is basically for natural days, but the second one, it was about sacrifices. It was about the ball game, which also we have right here in page number 1. So believing in the gods was everything. Like Mayas would do everything about nature laws. All right? Talking about the Mayas, it's like endless, I guess. So I think you have some information right there. I still have more Mayan presents. One for a girl. This is for you. Yeah, this is for you. Take it. Take it home. It's beautiful. Check it out. Yes. Who wants another present? They used to make necklaces from bones. These are bones from the, exactly. There you go. There you go. Listen, I have more presents, but this one is a special. This one is a special. And this, because they thought that death was part of life. And well, I want to give this to Mr. Antonio Bay for giving me this opportunity. Okay. And I still have more presents, okay? So if you want a present, well, you can come by and just pick it up. Have you ever heard about, well, this is not about Mayas, but this is another Mexican, pretty much like symbol of the Mexican culture, Frida Kahlo. Have you ever heard about her? Anybody? Frida Kahlo? Okay, a girl. Can a girl raise a hand and say, I have heard about Frida Kahlo? You're not a girl. You are a girl, but obviously you're Mexican. Anybody? Here, there you go.
Yes.
This is for you.
Okay.
This is for you. If you have a chance to read Frida Kahlo's life, 100% recommend it. Yes? So, yes. Anyways, Mexico is full of culture, not only Maya, not only, right? We have tequila, we have Aztecs, we have Toltecas, we have a whole bunch of tradition and, well, so I hope you liked my presentation, which was kind of in a hurry. I still have a lot of knowledge here. Who wants this? You want it? You get it. Anybody else? No problem, okay? My name, Carlos Bravo. I'm a teacher right now, currently, but I also write, I do films, I do painting, I do photography. You can watch my work at my Facebook, which is Tacher, like teacher, but I don't know why Facebook didn't allow me to put teacher. So I just put Tacher, as it sounds, Tacher, Tacher, Charlitos. I was in a hurry today, but where can I write down my email? Well, never mind. If you're interested, if you have one of those, come, I get you my information, right? Anyways, nice meeting you. Thank you, God, for this opportunity. And Mr. Antonio Valles, thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you so much. And, you have given our wonderful ending to the open forum. And because of the time limitation, I cannot open floor to other participants to give your comments, to give any questions. But anyway, I think culture diversity and culture exchanges will always lead to plenty of fruit, plenty of gifts. So I think our open forum is just a series of activities to foster the culture exchanges. In future, we will still have more activities, have more organized forum together with all the participants. Thank you so much.